Hey guys, NintendoCapriSun here. This is a long-ass video. Man, I forgot it was actually an hour and a half long. This is Oops All Koroks Part 2. So I decided what I'm going to do for this video is just read some of my journals from the year 2000 while we do these frickin' Koroks. Because, like, you know, last time I did this, I think I, like, Ask Reddit threads or something. I don't remember. But anyway, so from the year 2000, I'm just going to jump into it. I don't even know, man. I guess I should say, though, in advance that the videos might be spread out a little bit over the next week or two, because I'm making the jump to DaVinci Resolve instead of Sony Vegas, so it's a different video editor, and there's going to be a lot to learn about it and stuff, and I kind of know the basics now, but I still got a ways to go. We got a ways to go. So March 19th, 2000, here we go. Well, I guess you can say goodbye to the open diary. I don't care how hard I try. If I know that people are going to read what I put, I'm not going to say what I want to, the way I want to. And why should I make it a private entry when the page takes 5 minutes to load half the time? Fuck that. I'm sitting here listening to Tal Bachman Looks Like Rain and daydreaming about a girl named Kelly. This is a friend of Mary's who actually has an email address, so I can only slam a 60-pound Unix manual over my head for not copying down those email addresses just in case, when I knew at least I had a chance. Good lord. Okay, I read some of these yesterday and they were like totally taking me back to the past to play some shitty games that suck ass. Let me see. Josh logs into her email account this morning and I go to watch him type her password so I can make a mental note, and he types it with all 8 fingers, so I can't tell what he's pushing. Since when did that happen? All I could tell is that the last character of the 5-character password is a number, either 4 or 5. So I got some ideas, but I don't have time to sit and trial and error my way out of it. Dude, what are you doing? I was trying to, like, get into my sister's web TV account to get Kelly's email address. Like, what the fuck, dude? I either have to watch again or just plain outright ask her for it. Besides, she's gonna find out anyway. Then she's gonna be like, how did you get her email address? Of course, to this I will respond, I saw it on the screen. I have known about this girl for a while, ever since the pic of her with the blonde guy came around. I've been somewhat intrigued by her. So yesterday, I had Mary's phone right here in my hand, and I was about to call Mom. Then Mary's phone rung right there in my hand. So I told her the caller ID said Jim Benson, after the initial Jim Henson jokes, which were inevitably inevitable, haha. Mary started talking. Well, this was Kelly, and sure enough, that was the same girl as the one in the picture. How I remembered this, God only knows. All I know is that this is the most beautiful girl I think I've ever seen. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be juicy, let me tell you. Now, the problem is that for the last 3 weeks, I've been trying to convince myself that LawChick24, aka Jane, was the one for me, since we happen to have so much in common. So we've been writing each other for a little over a month now, I guess it is. Now it's been 48 hours since I got her letter, and I haven't even responded yet. I wonder if she's disappointed, because I don't think I've ever made her wait for more than 12 hours for a response to her letters, maybe 24 tops, whereas she has a more busy life and I've waited up to a week before receiving a letter from her. Well, a long one, you know. So it's really not fair to say I got nothing from her in the time in between. Jeez, I actually used to answer messages in 2 days? Damn. I need to get back to that. She sent me her pic the other day. It was a far away one. I was able to blow it up and I could see her somewhat. It was kind of blurry, but she's a nice looking girl. Kelly, on the other hand, is an angel. I've seen her face to face. I felt the aura of love and divine perfection from inches away, naive as it may sound. I don't know what her situation is as far as love or lust yet, but I can tell you right now, there was an attraction between us, no doubt, with 3 exclamation points. You can just take the shy Tim and flush that motherfucking piece of shit right down the toilet of apathy and say bye, bye, bye. Because I will tell you, I made eye contact with Kelly at least 50 times last night when we went out, especially at Perkins. Okay. Where was I anyway? Geez, listen at me. We were in the garage. Mary was on the phone with Kelly. About the most I could do was blow a gigantic burp in the background. Whoa, that sounds dangerously familiar. Oh, it looks like rain to me. He's quoting the Tal Bachman song he was listening to. Okay, so I said, well, hell's bells, I'll come with you and pay for you if you don't mind, because I knew they were going to have a hard time paying for their own. They said yeah, which was awesome. I got to, quote-unquote, replace Brian, Josh's best friend, who's here for spring break from college, which is in South Carolina. I don't even remember who that is. Which I guess is a good thing. This pretty much eliminated any potential competition, since Josh was so obviously and affectionately attached to Mary. That left lots of doors open for me and Kelly to just interact, even if it was only a quick eye contact making, I guess you could call it. So we went to her house, picked her up, and we were listening to, what were we listening to? Oh yeah, Harvey Danger, dude. So I pretty much kept my mouth shut, did the best guitar and drum imitation I could, and even managed to get introduced to her. So I looked back and gave her a little hi, then went back to work on my shit. My shit being playing air guitar and air drums in the car, I guess. That's what I had to do to impress girls or something, I don't know. Hell, it's not like I'm that much different now, really. When we got to the restaurant, the first few times I made eye contact with her, such as when I came back in after having stepped in a puddle while running out to recover Josh's cigarettes. He smokes, ain't it cool? It was kind of uncomfortable, but when we got to the table, I was sitting straight across from her, and I tell you, at least 20 times over the course of dinner, Josh and Mary said something funny, and me and Kelly looked at each other right in the eyes and laughed together. Or I would get some grim or weird or confused expression on my face, and she would laugh at that. Not only that, but we ordered the same thing. How cool is that? Wait. Oh, he doesn't mention the part about I ordered first, and she ordered the same thing as me, so it's not like I was copying her. Anyway. Well, after dinner, we rode over and hung out at the Blue Moon for a little while. Oh, man, the Blue Moon. I forgot about that place. That was like a little bar we used to hang out at. Sometimes we sang karaoke there. She sure knew a lot of people there, which kind of cut back on my competition, but you ain't even gonna see me thinking that was the reason Josh and Mary got bored. So we toked a few, made jokes, and Kelly reached over and knocked my knee with her knuckle. Then she's like, I'm just picking on you. So I reached over and did it back to her. Then she did it to me again. I should have done it again, but I couldn't. Well, at any rate, this is getting boring already. I was all saying this was gonna be juicy, man. At any rate, while we were walking out, this was another cool point. Josh and Mary just kind of ran off, leaving us to just walk side by side on the sidewalk to Mary's car. We were walking like only inches away from each other. We had made a stop back by the house to change cars, but I did get to do some Blink-182 shit on the way back in Josh's car. And we stopped at a Pizza Hut where Josh and Mary went in to check their schedule, saying we don't want the windows steamed up when we come back. Sure. LOL. Well, at that point was when I switched it to What's My Age again, so we'd only be 2 songs away from the really good one on that CD, and I lit up. Oh my god, you're such a loser, dude. Kelly's like, good song. Of course, it's the only one that anybody knows. I would think so. Well, finally we got home, we took Mary's paws off her walls, I guess paws like decals or whatever, and listened to Ruth Ruth. Got to hear their song Amnesia, which I haven't heard in at least 3 years. I have no idea what song that is. And it's the only song I remember at all from the CD. Just because of the strangely almost annoying backing vocals, which turned out to be a stronghold for the whole rhythm deal, which also turned out to be a lot better than I remember. I'm gonna go listen to this song now, shit. I need to write this down. Me and Kelly didn't exchange any more glances beyond... Wait, how far are we into the video? 7 minutes. Okay, wow. Pretty close to 7 minutes, man. At any rate, me and Kelly didn't exchange many more glances beyond that, but I did get to sit by her on the bed, and I could have scratched her back easily from where I was, but I was too busy playing with her video camera, that's Mary's video camera, taping stuff in the room. Anyway, all I can say is that Kelly is one beautiful girl, and she's really fucking up the whole Jane deal, so I got kind of a dilemma. Once again, I find myself choosing between 2 girls, both of whom I say could easily wind up being the one I spend the rest of my life with, and neither of which I have any evidence to show for it, save what's in my recollection of the past few days. 3 months later, I'll find 2 more, and I'll think the same goddamn thing, probably. That still won't have a car, because I will have spent all this $900 I got on fucking mattress payments, Deb's rent, and fucking coke. I swear I should just move right out with them. Well, I guess I've about said enough. So the Deb I'm talking about here is actually a different Deb than the one that had the daughter, Shannon, and like I co-signed on her loan. This is a different Deb. A stepmom, actually, a former stepmom. I think she's actually dead now, I'm not sure. I thought I heard that somewhere. Anyway. I swear I should just move right out with him. Well, I guess I've just said enough. I still gotta write Jane tonight, or maybe I should just save that for tomorrow. I can't decide, really. I get to thinking that any decision that saves me a trip up those stairs is a good thing. I guess I shouldn't deny it. I gotta tell you, I have the hots for Kelly, and what the hell am I gonna do? Mary will probably just get pissed off if she finds out. She'll be all like, what else is new? Here he goes again, and it's nobody's fault but my own. I know it is. If I didn't have to fall in love so easily. But I'm not going to sit and filter out people the way they say you should. Filter human beings? I mean, come on. I mean, it's not like I like her just because she's beautiful. She was sweet. She was so gentle and kind. By the same token, it's not like I know her that well. But from the look of... Wait a minute. The spacing on this page is really weird. I don't know when I printed these out. I think I actually had these on my web TV. I was emailing them to myself, and then one day I just printed them all out. But it's like double spaced, and like 3 of the letters from one line filter onto the next line, so it's actually single spaced with like 3 letters on every other line. It's hard to describe. But from the look of some of those people in the moon, whoa. Kelly wasn't wearing black makeup or on her eyes or anything, and when she smiles, you can tell she means it. Most people just kind of, and all that. Mary and Josh were all like, it's good to see you smiling for a change and all this, so I can't help but be interested in what it could be that's got her so down then. I know it's like none of my business, but what if it is? If it's not, then what am I here for? And that's March 19th. Now it skips up to April 12th here, so this is like almost a month later. Let me see. Is he still talking about the same crap? Let's see. April 12th. Well, I don't know what the last thing was that I wrote to you, so I'll just tell you what I feel like telling you, and then maybe go see what I have written lately. I finally got Kelly's email address. She responded, so I wrote her back that same day. But here we are 4 days later and still haven't heard anything back. I about flipped when I read what I actually wrote back to her about it's too bad the only ones who like cuddling, etc. Stupid! Damn! I made a complete fool of myself with that email. She said to keep in touch, so that's what I did, and now it's been 4 days and I haven't heard anything. I'm not even going to start hoping that she's doing it to torture me, because I can tell you right now that unlike Jane, Kelly has a life. Ugh. Didn't you just say Jane had a life in the land? What? Okay, whatever. She's got 100 friends up at the Blue Moon, and if she didn't have a boyfriend, that would be an absolute miracle. I'm sure she does, though, so I'm not even about to get my hopes up that she doesn't have one. Today, well, actually, these last few days haven't been so great. Option 1 was calling like 3 times a week, but I haven't heard anything from them since 2 weeks ago this Friday, and today's Wednesday. I got Mary's room, which is great, but now I got no Mary, and that sucks. Oh, that's right, because Mary and Josh moved out at this point, so I took her room upstairs, so I wasn't living in the basement anymore. It's not like I ever saw her anyways, but now I can't go out riding with them anymore, thinking about Kelly and all that shit. The truth is, I'm just gonna have to write her if I ever want to see her again, because until they get either a phone or a web TV hooked up, I have no way of contacting them except just to drive over there, which is really not that bad of an idea, but still. I just wouldn't really want to interrupt anything. I guess there's really not much for Kelly to say to me. I didn't exactly ask her anything. I would like to take her out to a movie or something, you know, while I can still do that as a late birthday present or something, you know. If only the selection of movies hadn't blown ass so much last time we went and looked, then maybe I'd consider it worth going. But I don't know what she would want to see. But if there was anything she wanted to see at all, maybe, you know. I don't know, though. I don't know why I don't ask her. Light Dancer says I should, but Light doesn't know that we only spent like 2 hours together in our whole life. You wouldn't believe how many hours I've spent sitting up here listening to Blink-182 just because of how we did that night. These last 2 nights, I've also put number 7 from that CD on and slept to it. That's Adam's song. Oh boy. Not this again. I think I've told part of the story before. Let me see. Oh, he's doing the... Oh, he made a bridge. Yeah, I got pretty good use out of that bridge when I was doing these Koroks. Anyway, let me see. I've been waking up hundreds of times throughout the nights, too. I don't even get that. Well, the worst part about this now is now that Mary is gone, Dad and Deb are just at each other's throats all the time about everything, whether it's dealing with nasty posts on message boards, or finances, or whatnot. I guess as long as she's unemployed, too, then that helps me not to look so bad. Still, though, I do have a place I want to apply at tomorrow, Nina Printing. Of course, I can't help but consider that I'll probably just be another place I'll apply at and never hear from again. God knows there have been plenty of those. I refuse to go into any psychological discussions about the relationship between my expectations and the possibility, just because I don't give a fuck about that right now, and I especially don't give a fuck about how this attitude affects my chances either. Huh. I just want to sit and write about Kelly, but there's nothing to say. Every single time my mail light comes on, I think it might be her, but there's nothing really for her to say. I mean, I might as well accept it for the time being, and she is not as intrigued by me as I am by her. And if I ever hope to accomplish anything, I'm just going to have to make the first move. Maybe tonight. Yeah, maybe tonight. Oh my god. Just give her something to write back about anyway, so I can stop worrying about the possibility that she just doesn't want to write to me. Because it's not like she doesn't want to. She just doesn't have anything to say. And hell, neither do I, except I love you. Oh, yeah, right. But you don't land on a planet by flying straight into it, and even if you did, you have to put a lot of resistance against it to keep from crashing, you know? That's an interesting analogy. May 23rd, house sitter. Wait, didn't I have an entry about where I thought I had one about, like, how I got the email. Because what I ended up doing was, when Mary moved out, she was, like, retired her email address, so she sent an email to all her friends saying, I'm not going to be using this email anymore. So I looked through that list, and I narrowed it down to like 3 people. It could have been Kelly. So what I did was I emailed those 3 people, and because it was like Kelly's birthday was coming up, it was like April something. And so I sent a message to all 3 of those people saying, if any one of you is Kelly, happy birthday, and then I said a bunch of other crap. But I thought I like put that in here somewhere, but I don't know. It might be, this might not be all of them, but anyway. Okay, so May 23rd, house sitter. So this is when I was house sitting for Mary and Josh at their apartment while they were gone, and I rented Final Fantasy VIII, so here we go. May 23rd, house sitter. Well, slap me with a family job and call me Goldie Hawn. Unfortunately, though, in my case, I'm not meeting soulmates in the process. Not yet, anyway, and not that I plan to be. Mary screwed up and didn't put a password on her Cosmo2AM email account, so I hacked right into it and scouted that son of a bitch for signs that, oh my god, that Kelly was still alive. What I found was both exciting and disappointing at the same time. While it was exciting to see that she was in fact still alive and well, it was disappointing that she didn't have any excuses as to why she has so blatantly refused to correspond with me. Okay. The only letter she sent was on the 30th of April, which of course reminded me that now it has been 2 months since I've seen her. Or almost that, if you count the time I went and saw her at Pick and Save, which I wouldn't dare do now under the circumstances she herself has created. Oh my god. Is this... like, this reminds me of how some people act today. I don't think people acted like this 20 years ago, though. I didn't create this, did I? So all my life I've always had this thing where, like, I wish other people were like me. Well, they sure are now, if this is any indication. Holy crap, what the fuck, dude? She spoke of going to prom already, with a cute blonde from the Blue Moon called Joe, and another guy named Adam trying to hit on her. She didn't seem to think too much of Adam, thus the Blink-182 song becomes all the more appropriate. You'll be sorry when I'm gone. How ironic, since I just recently emailed her again about that. What? You told her? Maybe that's why she's not responding to you, dude. I can't believe this. This is ridiculous. I can't believe I did this. Jesus Christ, dude. Maybe I'll get cancelled in a couple months, I don't know. Yeah, I finally got up the nerve and sent a mass forward to about 5 people, including her, about the kid who committed suicide while Adam's song was left on repeat. I can't help but wonder what part of the song was playing when his parents arrived. Not that they would notice that with the initial shock. Could it be a sign? A sign for me? A sign for her? Well, the heck with signs, because I find very little meaning in them anymore. I only base my assumptions on past experience, so if you pass judgment on me, you pass it on fate itself. I refuse to go down alone, so at this point I know the right thing to do is just forget about it, and maybe someday down the road we will see each other again, and I can make something of the situation at that time. Between now and then, I just further hone my undeniably impeccable skill at wondering why. If you remember, the first time I saw Beverly was May 2nd, 1997. You know the date. I probably talked about it on tape. The first time I really got to interacting with her was around the end of September. The situation is different now that Mary doesn't live under the same roof as me, but painfully similar. Only this time I really don't think Mary suspects anything. It's only a matter of time, though, either until I give a sign or I give up, the latter of which is not typical of an Aries, so sue me. I want something and I try to get it. What's wrong with that? How many times a day do you have to hear people saying you can have anything you want if you just put your mind to it? Well, alrighty then, I rest my case. Court dismissed. And so here I sit in Josh's bedroom with my web TV hooked up to their TV, where their web TV is. The same one that I hacked into when I got home from work Saturday night. First off, let me just say that I have not stepped foot in that Motomart since I got off Saturday night. A guy comes in with a credit card, slaps it on the counter. He has no items with him, so right away I look for gas. There's one gas purchase on the monitor, so without even thinking, I go on and punch it up and charge it to his card. After I ring the card through, he's like, "What are you doing? I haven't even bought anything yet." Well, yeah, he just came up to the counter with nothing and set his card down, so I just assumed he got the gas. Oh, man. Well, fortunately, he figured it was just an empty transaction I had just rung onto his card. No such luck. That was $20 in gas. Well, I went on and let him think that nothing had happened, and then he bought his stuff and left. Afterwards, I tried to find a way to go back to that transaction and cancel it, but people just kept pouring in. Despite the fact that it was 9:30 at night, there was just constantly people in line. I shit you not. Usually 3 to 5 in line. It just sucked so much because I could not give them the service I wanted to with what I had just done on my mind. Of course, the one who did get the gas paid for it in cash, thank God, because if he had wanted to use a credit card, there wouldn't have been much I could do. I didn't even think about that. Oh well, anyway, what else sucked about that whole afternoon is that I had to work with Herb, which of course I was expecting since there's like nobody else, even though there isn't. You know what I mean. So, no, I don't know what you mean actually. So he leaves at around 9:20, which is why the lines were so bad after my big mistake, because I was there all alone. Well, John, this huge guy who does third shift, shows up and he goes and checks out the hot dog case and all that. And even though I had cleaned out the hot dogs, I'd forgotten to do the buns. Also, the popcorn wasn't done. Second shift is supposed to do that, but it wasn't done. Well, John goes over and looks at that, and he's like, "You've got to be kidding." I glanced over long enough to see him throw something up against the wall. Whatever it was, it didn't make much noise. But he was so pissed off I couldn't concentrate at all. I was so scared. Jesus Christ, dude. I closed out my shit. It was like that lady in the bakery. I forgot that there were other people in my life who did that, too. I closed out my shift, I wrote cancel if possible on the receipt of my mistaken credit ring-up. My coupons didn't come out right, nothing did except for the lottery instant sales. Plus, what's even worse is I was using John's name tag with my name taped on a receipt paper over it, so he was probably wondering where the hell his name tag was. About the only interaction we had was when someone asked for some Camel Reds and he grabbed them for me. Well, I did the popcorn and the buns, I think the buns, before I left, but still. So then Sunday night, Dennis calls and says he's not feeling well and he wants me to come in and cover his ass. Well, I'd been up since 8 that morning and I had to mail Mary and Josh's video camera off today since they forgot to bring it. That turned out to be cost $59, so I hope they were ready for that. So I couldn't work last night. Fortunately, I don't have to work tonight, but I gotta stay up, so I'll sleep in somewhat late tomorrow. So I'll be able to stay awake tomorrow night. I got Final Fantasy VIII to keep me busy, but it's not all that great of a game. Of course, I'm not really used to it, and I haven't really figured out everything about it. I always said those Final Fantasy games are not the kind you rent, unless you want an excuse to blow another $150 plus $70 real quick. I'm not sure what he means by that. I assume he means renting it like 30 times or something. Which I'll probably wind up doing, knowing me, there's just always something to spend my money on lately. Didn't know the lottery was hurting me that badly, jeez. Oh well, at least Mary and Josh are paying me for this. I don't know how happy they're going to be about reimbursing $59 over a little error in packing. So in essence, these last few days have given me a little look into the future of what it will be like to live alone. And to tell you the truth, I don't like it. Freedom is nice and all, but if I don't get out and do stuff once in a while, I'll go crazy. And if I don't make good money, I can't go out. Not that I have anybody who wants to go with me anyway. There's very few things you can go out and do in this world where you can actually meet people and be doing something. At the Blue Moon, you could meet people, but there's nothing really to do there. On the other hand, you can meet people at the movies, but you don't actually sit down and talk to them. You just go, see the movie, and leave. The few minutes in the lobby is about the extent of your social possibilities there. The bowling alley would be a more suitable place to meet somebody. Those bars that we go to sing karaoke, I mean, forget that. All the girls are either... Wait a minute. Oh, no. Oh, no. I don't know if I should read this part. This is bad. I'm telling you, I was not a good person back then. Here it goes. Well, by today's standards, I guess I wasn't. Here it goes. All the girls... Okay, so I'm talking about the bars to go sing karaoke. All the girls are either taken, surrounded by 5 guy friends of theirs, fat, or worst of all, lesbians. I am actually reading this. This is not cool, dude. Oh my god. I couldn't picture myself talking to any of them about anything serious. Maybe car troubles, or their cousin who lives in Oklahoma who just had a baby and is now in the hospital and the baby is staying with a neighbor or some redneck shit, you know? This is why I say I want a girl like Kelly, one with a little bit of class. Even though I don't know what class is, I know that Kelly has it! Exclamation point. Why can't fate just look down at what a twisted story this is and say, how low can you get? I love it, you know? Me driving home to my sister's apartment from my 4th solo movie trip since I asked Kelly out. Driving my sister's boyfriend's car while they're staying with my mom 900 miles away, listening to a song about suicide, and yet every time the melody of the chorus hits, I can see her face right in front of me while the music burns in my ears. How twisted can you be? Oh, it's funny you should ask. Jeez. I'm not saying it takes some kind of talent to ignore the fact that the song's about suicide, but how can I forget that night? And how can I forget the passion with which I strummed that air guitar back when I didn't know what the song was about? All I knew was the melody. The whole deal is just twisted, but that's what I love about it. Unexpected, you know? And yet I know to expect it because it's supposed to be unexpected, and that's my fallout. 76. Psychologize all you want, but the plain and simple truth is that Kelly doesn't want to go to the movies with me. She doesn't want to interact with me by email, even though she tells me to keep in touch. We're just not close enough yet, and that's frustrating. I know I'm still a stranger to her, and that's fine. I just hope that somewhere down the line we will see each other again, and she will get another chance to see my inner beauty. Inner beauty, alright. Oh, you're showing it in spades here, buddy. I figured email would be a good way for her to see that, since I've had such great luck with girls on here, but that's just not working out that way. So eventually I'll be back to living with Dad and Deb again. To be honest, I don't dread it at all. It's not exactly the greatest life in the world over there, but I don't know, I guess I feel safer over there. If this was my apartment, maybe I'd feel differently. But since it's not, since the food I eat and the roof over my head and the car I drive all belong to someone else, it's just not the same as being totally free. Yeah, I was driving my sister's boyfriend's car because they were... Like, they had 2 cars, and they took one to go down to see Mom, who was 900 miles away, and they left the other one there. So when I was house sitting, I was also kind of car sitting. I got to use his car. His car was cool. It was like a station wagon. We called it the Hoopty Ride. I don't even know what that means, but, yeah. We had some fun times cruising in that thing, listening to Lifehouse, boy, I tell you. Okay, so where was I? I'm trying to have fun and live like a free man, but something's still missing and I don't know what this is just yet. When I mailed off that camera, I wasn't totally sure about the address. I knew the 305 Dabs part, but when I looked it up on the web, I got a Dabs Avenue. I thought it was Dabs Court, so I hope there's not one of each down there, lest they take Mary's video camera to the wrong place. I put Dabs Avenue, but hopefully that won't matter. What will matter, though, is the apartment number. I don't remember about that either. I wanted to call and make sure, but I just didn't feel like it, so I put apartment number 1, because I was certain enough that was the correct number. Way to go. I guess it got to them, though, so I guess I was right. Still, though. I'll feel a lot better when I find out that they got it in the mail tomorrow. Meanwhile, I haven't been in ABC since I got here, and I don't plan on going there as long as I have Final Fantasy VIII here. So ABC is like this chat game I used to play, where you made acronyms out of stuff. Anyway, as long as I have Final Fantasy VIII here, I'm going to try and get my money's worth, if you know what I mean. So by the time I get back, I'm sure Bluey's gap will be up to 30 or 40. I don't even want to look, really. Bluey is like this other person that played the game and was, like, #1 at it, and sometimes I would hit #1. But I'm not going to go into big detail about that, but I don't even want to look, really. But if I can just accept being at #2 for a while, that's fine. It wasn't that great of a deal getting to #1 anyway. Oh well, I guess I better get on out here for now. See ya. That was all one entry. I guess I was house-sitting, though, so I had all the time in the world. The next one is May 28th, 5 days later. It's called The Usual. I don't know when I gave these titles, but I guess when I printed them out, I decided to give them titles. Wait a minute, why is... Hang on. This one's really short. Okay, let's see what we got here. This one looks like it might be a little intense. Okay, let's do it. Does it get any worse than what we've already heard, though? I don't know. So here we go. May 28th, The Usual. Fuck everything that's not physical, because one of these days I can just stop believing anytime I want to. I'm one of the few left in this world who believes, let alone wants to believe, that there is something deeper, supernatural to this world. And day by day, my faith is pounded by the physical world of insurmountable odds. Well, insurmountable my ass. Just shut the fuck up about what's gonna happen and let me take care of it myself. I know it can't happen to everyone, but... Oh, he's talking about winning the lottery. Why? He's mad that he can't win the lottery. This is literally... I ranted about that. I know it can't happen to everyone, but how many people out there take the time to type shit like this and actually care enough to think about it? They buy a couple of quick picks, stash them away, and then they check them the next week. They're losers. No big deal. Well, I'm sorry, but it is a big deal to me. Stop rubbing that 3 million in my face and show me that there is a 1 out there somewhere, you know? As in, like, the odds being 1 in 3 million. Okay. I mean, the choice is yours, you know? I even went so far as to ask Satan the other night to let the numbers come out for my super catch. You have to match 4 out of 6 to win anything. I had a ticket with 4 combinations of numbers, and I matched 3 numbers on 2 of them that night. So I may start asking Satan again. Then when I get my money, I can turn back to God. How bad does that sound? Well, God knows that I would be more than glad to help others out if I were to win that kind of money. But he doesn't give me a chance to prove that and help people. He gives it to some schmuck out there who goes and buys himself a house, a car, and puts the rest in the bank where it sits for the rest of their life. Well, fine. If God chooses to make that kind of assumption about me, then I don't need him to fuck up my fate based on something he thinks I would have done or could have done with that money. I'd be more than glad to share with Dad and Deb if I had something to share, you know? I guess the ultimate test of a person's generosity is to see how much they give when they don't have a lot. Well, has anyone out there been watching me for the last 5 years? Do you think just because I don't have feelings, that means you can watch me sit here at the age of 24, watching my 18-year-old sister buy herself a car, and on top of that move out into her own place, all in the window of 6 months? Sure, I'm happy for her and all, but what about me? When is my ship gonna come in, you know? I know you're supposed to make these things happen yourself, but I can't do it as long as I'm stuck trying to prove myself to God by killing myself for Steve and now Deb. How much longer do I have to keep doing this before he's happy with what I've done? Did they do a background check on lottery winners? Do they all have the same past as me? And if that were the case, then wouldn't people find that a little bit funny? Of course they would. Of course they would. That's why there's always gotta be the periodical schmuck out there who wins the... Wait. Who wins the lottery so we don't have proof that God exists. People get what they deserve, alright. Well, I'm still waiting to get what I deserve. One final thing. The #1 reason right now that I need to win the lottery is that I need to get to a dentist and get my teeth fixed. I don't care how powerful love is, no girl is going to put up with a kiss from a guy who has 4 rotten teeth. End of story. So we'll see if God is love. We will see! We will see is in all caps. Yeah, that one was pretty short. Okay, June 5th, this one doesn't have a title, but here we are. So here we are again. Last night was so twisted, I couldn't help but look at it as just another day. You know how they say you're unique just like everybody else? Boy, are they ever right. Last night I had the most kick-ass conversation with fate that I'd be willing to give $20 to have it on tape. Whether or not having conversations with fate is effective in changing your destiny, who the fuck knows? All I know is that I've been 1 inch short of chastised my whole life for talking to myself by people who probably prayed every single night, talking to no one but, you guessed it, themselves. So now I'm saying I don't believe in God? Absolutely not. I just don't believe in the same God everyone else does. They think you have to be kneeling, closing your eyes, folding your hands, bowing your head, lying down, or in a church to pray. Well, sir, it just isn't so. Why do people assume that God only listens when you're doing a certain thing physically? If God and the physical world had any connection whatsoever, then how the fuck do you explain all the women out there taking beatings daily from their piss-poor husbands? See there? I sound like Kaito here. Kaito from Danganronpa V3. Anyway, now about the lottery. I explained it all. It's all because of my lisp that I'm not successful today. I couldn't go to clubs or do anything that required staying after school because my parents worked until 5 o'clock, and I would have been getting out 30 to 45 minutes before then. Most kids in that situation ride home with friends. I didn't have friends. Why? Because I have no communication skills because of my lisp. So that takes care of all my childhood slackerness. Now, after I graduated, it's not like I sat around on my ass and just never went... It's not like I sat around on my ass and never went job hunting. I got a few interviews in, but most of them either ignored me or got so lucky as to see my lisp and said, okay, nope, cross him off and end this interview ASAP. First job I got was only because of the Steve connection, and I sucked at it. I'm all but convinced that the only reason they didn't fire me is because of my connection with the owners, because I was just simply no good at that job. When I got up here, I was lucky to get the job at Pick and Save. Those managers were incredibly lenient. The temp agencies were okay, but okay, I'm getting off the subject. The lisp pretty much fucked me out of my childhood and all potential girlfriends, and everything else involving any kind of emotional pleasure. Steve and Deb have fucked me out of everything else. Steve was just an incompetent loser with the same kind of problem I had, some sort of attention deficit disorder or something that made communication more possible, but less constructive. He bought things on the spur of the moment, caused my mom all sorts of shit, and guess who was at the bottom of the food chain to back it all up? Yeah, when I couldn't find a job after graduating, I did say I wanted to help my parents. I wasn't planning on putting my future on hold for it, though. But that's what I did for 3 fucking years. Finally, I moved up here with Dad and Deb, where things were better for a while. They had to borrow $500 from me at one point, but we agreed I just wouldn't have to pay rent for 10 months to cover that. So that would mean the rent was $50 a month. Holy crap. Okay, I don't know what you're complaining about. $50 a month for rent? Fuck me, man. Well, shortly after I got laid off from Guardian, those bastards, my relief period went downhill. Those fucking mattress payments started, which have added up to $600 already. But when my relief period ended, Deb suddenly decided my rent was $50 a week now, whatever the heck that came from. Well, I paid the goddamn thing, finally got another job about a month later, but those bastards didn't need me either, so I said, fuck it, I need something where I know I'm not going to be laid off. So I went back to Pick and Save when my savings dried up on me. After a while, I decided to give the data entry thing another try. I even quit Pick and Save because I was so confident that option 1 could find me something, but every single time I thought they had something, something had to fuck up about it, whether it was the hiring pattern being off, or just whatever. Eventually, 2 weeks passed with no news from them. Anyway, Josh saved my ass by suggesting I apply at Motomart, and if I didn't have that job, I don't know where the fuck I'd be right now. I've been working there for over a month, and I still have nothing. I was finally starting to get something built up when Deb calls me while I'm at Mary and Josh's place house-sitting, wanting that damn $200, saying it was going to be the last time. Yeah, right. I would bet everything left in my account that Dad doesn't even know about that she told him it came from tips or some bullshit like that. I just can't understand how anyone can have such great morals as to shun anyone who says goddamn, and yet just be an outright liar. I just don't know when it's ever going to end. So I'm telling fate, just like I've done 100 times before, that this is why I deserve to win the lottery. There's enough children who get cars for their 16th birthday from their parents. Now here I am at the ripe old age of 24, still no card, buying my parents 48-inch screen TVs and washers and dryers. How's this? My name is on the lease for those 2 things, so if we don't let them in to claim them, they may take court action against me. I don't know if they expect me to actually make those payments now, or if they plan to compensate me for that. I sure don't expect them to. I know Josh and Mary owe me money, but I'm not rushing them, because at least I know it's going to happen. When you learn not to rush things that aren't going to happen anyway, you learn to appreciate something that you know will happen and not rush that. So, yeah. Well, whatever the case is, I'm not saying the same things I was last night. I'm just waiting for the next request from money from you-know-who. Every time she does it, I start to think, here we go again. And then I back up and say, did it really happen before? So you know how they say give without remembering, take without forgetting? Well, I'm pretty fucking good at that, because I usually cave into her desperate pleas and all those sulking stories without ever thinking that maybe it's already happened before. I know it has, I just don't know how often. All I know is she always says this will be the last time, and you won't have to pay any rent until August 1st or whatever. Well, I can already tell you, she'll be asking for another $200 sometime between now and August 1st, because I catch on the patterns, and I'm good at that. This is getting boring. Besides, I don't have to pay rent anyway. Dad said so. He's told me at least 3 times now, don't give her any money, and what do? I do it anyway because I'm such a bleeding heart. When she first asked me for the $200 that day I was at Mary and Josh's, I told her I could only give her $100 because I had a $150 check and $108 in my account, which of course was the truth, but I wanted her to think that if she did actually get the $200, that it would leave me with $58 in my account and nothing to spend for the rest of the weekend or all of the next week until Friday without making a devastating withdrawal. Well, guess what? It didn't work. I said I could give her $100, but then she goes into this long, drawn-out story about something. I don't remember what it was. All I know is it didn't have shit to do with me. It was about what all had to be paid this week, topped with some nice, sappy, tear-jerking stories about so-and-so needing to go see so-and-so, and then a few flashbacks about the trip to Georgia and how she really had to do that. You know, I guess she figured since she could trick me into paying $50 a week for rent, she could do more, and it hasn't been the same since then. She's fucked me out of everything I have except for what I bought with my money. Which if I hadn't bought that stuff, she'd probably have had that money too. Then maybe they would owe less than $1,000 on the TV, so it'd be time to drag in a new burden on the finances so they can live in their little lap of luxury while my future gently slips down this fucking drain. Anyway, after all those stories, I suppose she thought, good, I'm getting to his heart. He's a really sweet and understanding person. He wouldn't dare not give money to me now that he's seen how desperate and in distress I am. And god damn it, it worked. I didn't say I'd give her $200, I just said I'll see what I can do. I took the check, which was $158, over to the bank, and I cashed the whole thing. I spent $14 on groceries, and then took the remaining $144 over and counted it out and gave every bit of it to her. You dumbass. Seriously, you dumbass, man. Ever hear the story about the 2 people in the church? One guy has a penny and he gives it to the church, another guy has $100 and he gives $10 of it, and the guy with the penny winds up getting more respect because he gave 100% of what he had. I understand this situation I've been in is not the same thing, but I mean, come on. Is it really so bad that I spent $14 out of my $158 on myself before I go throwing it all the way down that bottomless pit? Are you trying to tell me that if I'd gone straight home and given her all 158 of it, that I would have won the lottery? Somehow I doubt it. I just don't think that's how the world works, because something would have happened by now with all the shit I've done. Of course, it could always happen tomorrow, or the next day, or the day after that. Well, it's a good fucking thing it took me this long to think of that, or I would have really killed myself over it a long time ago. It's not like I don't have the right to talk like that. I had the right after the first year of martyrdom. Okay, here we go. You're getting good. Now it's just a common everyday occurrence. Bring the check home, cash it, hand it over. I'm not used to actually being able to spend my money on myself. I never have, because I've never lived with anyone who had the responsibility to take care of themselves. As long as I was around, they always had backup, and they were not afraid to go all out and use it, regardless of how good the backup was. Somehow there was always just enough. So they try a little more. There'd be just enough then. Next thing you know, 3 years have passed, and where's my future? Nowhere to be seen. That's why I either have to win the lottery or get my book published, because I'm pretty screwed if I don't do something. Or if fate doesn't decide to pay me back like the Bible says. Whatever the hell that means. $50 is a nice win on the lottery, but it hardly covers what I've done. Whatever happened to getting back what you give tenfold, or whatever the heck that was? If that was the case, I should be winning $100,000 on that Powerball pretty soon, because I know I've given my parents at least $10,000 by now. I gave Mom and Steve money every single week. Sometimes that was like $200. Several times it was $150 or $120 or whatever. And I did that for, what, 3 years? At $100 a week, that would be over $15,000 right there. That's not even counting what I've done for Dad and Deb now, or is it just Deb? Dad says I don't have to pay her ass anymore, but as long as she sulks the way she does and lays all those fucking guilt trips, it's like it's only my fault she's in poverty. Then I guess I'm the only one who can help her. The worst thing is Dad has accused her of doing that, laying guilt trips before, when I agreed with him totally, and she vehemently denies it. All the best ones do. They convince themselves, somewhere inside, that they have better intentions than what people think, but all they really want is for people to feel sorry for them. Maybe the reason I don't get any rewards from fate for all I do is just that I'm not doing it for the right people. Like I said, a bottomless pit. It helps nothing, I'm just wasting my money. I figured cheerful giving was a good thing, well maybe it's not. But if that's the case, then where does that leave me? Whose fault is it going to be then? It's not like I really want her to suffer for taking my money, I just want fate to return it. I want the almighty God to show that he still has some sense of honor and keep all the word they toss your face in the Bible. I know it could happen tomorrow, or the next day, or the next day, but I don't exactly have the time to be taking these days for granted, you know? If I can't start my life now, then what the fuck am I here for? Just to suffer for a while and then the relief? I guess there's nothing wrong with torturing people as long as there's an end to it. After all, you don't want to keep torturing them once you've climaxed now, have you? God damn. Holy hell, this is amazing. I don't even know what I mean by amazing. Good intentions don't count for shit in this world. I already figured that one out. If I win the lottery a week from now, then that's great. All I can say is it's about time. Then I'll believe. I'm sorry, but just because I'm a social virgin doesn't mean that letting me hold Beverly for 2 minutes out in downtown Athens makes up for $12,000 in payments to that dumbass. Sure, I appreciate it more, but what about all the people that get 10 times more and appreciate it 10 times less? Oh, I see. They'll go to hell. Am I gonna go to hell too for asking Satan last night to let my numbers come up in the lottery? I swear to God, that's what I did. I parked in the movie theater, toked 2 non-filter cigarettes, and had a nice long talk with Satan saying, hey, you're the only one who can help me here. It's now or never, you know? I even told Satan he could have my soul. No, you... Please tell me you didn't do that, dude. I can't even read this. I even told Satan he could have my soul if he would just give me the Cash for Life prize. Well, he didn't do it either, so I hope my soul is still safe in the hands of the non-existent God who wants it so fucking bad. I'm sorry, but if I don't see something a little more impacting and soon, if it's really such a motherfucking bad thing to help people, then Satan can have my soul for all I care, because there is no heaven. Damn, I was going through something here, man. I was going through a stage or something here. Like, I wouldn't call myself a straight-up atheist now. I mean, agnostic, worst-case scenario, but still. July 9th, it happens. Exclamation point. This one's also kind of short. Let me see. Oh well, I better get in and work on those lottery-losing ticket entries. If I wind up using that last $4 to fill Dad's truck with 2 gallons of gas, you know that the only portion of my entire $213 I will have wound up spending on myself was the $4.41 I spent on the envelopes to mail those things off. It was a good week for the spirit, but I guess that spending $4 on myself is still too much for being worth any kind of miracle anytime soon. Just look at the past, and look at now. Nothing has changed, and if it doesn't change today, then why should it tomorrow? From here on out, I have grounds to take tomorrow for granted, because if miracles have to wait like this, then I'm not going to pretend like there's no tomorrow just because I can't be expecting it when it happens. Just get that out of your head now, because, and I capitalized your because I was referring to God here. Just get that out of your head now, because I know that I'm a good person, and I'm fucking proud of it. I'm proud of all the money I've given away, and as long as it has the same effect on the people I give it to as if I hadn't been proud of it, I don't know why it has to matter so much what's going on inside my head. I helped them, so help me. But you can't do that because of what I'm thinking. Because I don't deserve it. My mom could be praying every day for my eternal giving back to come to me, but God won't answer that prayer because it's more important to worry about taking care of my so-called pride first. And I can't even look people in the eyes, some pride, than to uphold justice. Now watch the news for a couple of days and it will start to make sense, won't it? You even use God and justice in the same sentence, then you're fucking crazy. Wow. I hope he gets over this pretty soon. I don't know, this is making me a little weirded out. July 30th. I'm almost done with these. I'm not going to have enough to fill up all this time. Okay. July 30th. Not sure about that date. Just had to relinquish my seeking up and take the football and hike it already. Don't you just hate when I don't make any sense? Who the fuck is that anyway? Not the same person you've been seeing. How ironic this should happen on the way back from the movies Me, Myself, and Irene, a movie all about split personality disorder, which if any human being ever had it, it would have to be me. You just say that so nonchalantly, really? No, I'm pretty sure I don't. I'm just good at hiding these aspects of myself from the world, I guess. Like, I don't still think like this now. It's so weird to read this. Maybe I do. Well, I don't know, though. Being a different person than who you were 20 years ago, I don't think that really equates to having a split personality. It just means you changed, you know? That's what people do. Anyway, since Kelly wrote me again... Wait, whoa, hang on. Kelly wrote me. When did this happen? July 9th to July 30th. It must have happened at some point. I wonder what she said. Maybe he'll enlighten us here. Since Kelly wrote me again, I've been a little jerked back and forth with all my love again. It's almost as though I don't know who in the world I want. In the last 2 months alone, I've been through affairs, quote-unquote affairs, with gorgeous art gal, oh, she was beautiful, Shell, she was also beautiful, and a mini-meeting with Green Eyes FL, Trisha, and now Kelly again's got me convinced beyond a doubt. Until 2 weeks later, we'll see who pops up then. This movie date was a little more authentic. Not because anyone was actually with me, but because someone that I know in real life was with me. Capiche? He spelled that K-A-P-E-S-H-E. I didn't think so. I don't know what he means by this. I'm such a fucking Hollywood actor, I know. What do you expect? Me just to be a normal schmuck? Okay, fine, we'll settle for that. On the way out of the theater, I talked to Kelly. I put my arm around her. Oh, he's just pretending that she's there with him. Okay, this is kind of sad. Well, on the way out of the theater, I talked to Kelly. I put my arm around her. I hugged her. I talked to her constantly, and she talked back. Anyone in the parking lot who may have seen me open the door and remove the things from the seat so she could sit down may have just thought I had a few screws loose. What was your first clue? On the way home, we talked some more. She rested her head on my shoulder, and I drove with my right hand while my left hand caressed the top of her head. I was in a fit of yawning, which made for some good conversation, which I'm sorry to say I have no confirmed proof that would exist had she really physically been there. Well, on the way out, I got lucky and got the green light, had a truck tailgate me all the way over the tracks up to the next light. Then he turned right, so I coasted on up the road to the end of West Cecil, made the left, and as I pulled on to Hanson Road, oh wait, might I mention that on the radio shortly before, I heard a commercial advertising Fuck Night with no cover on Hanson Road in Green Bay, of course. More good conversation material there. Anyway, I get onto Hanson Road. That's the road that Kelly lived on. And, maybe I shouldn't be saying that. This is like 20 years ago. Anyway, I get onto Hanson Road, and there's a car coming the other way. At first I think, nah. But then I remember, sheesh, not that many people live on this road, and not many people use it except for the people who live on the road. The car pulls into a driveway, and by now, I'm close enough to realize, sure fucking enough, it was Kelly's car, and she was driving. She pulled into her driveway and backed back out. I passed by as she was coming back out. At the end of the road, I just stopped in complete denial and watched as her lights remained on the road. It almost looked as though she were pulling back onto the road as if to follow me, but I guess that wasn't meant to be. Finally, I took the left and sat at the stop sign for a minute. Finally, I took a left and made one more pass. Did he say finally I took a left 2 times in a row? I guess he did. I didn't pull on a Hanson Road, just passed it and took the next road back. Didn't look like anyone was there the second time. But all in all, how ironic that I should take her out on a date, fully thinking about stopping to even let her off, and then when I ride by her house, guess what? That's exactly where she's arriving at the same moment I pass by. And you tell me there is no fate. Fuck the discussions this time. You cannot make me believe that things like that happen just because they happen. That's why I keep playing the lottery, you know? And you can never make me believe that any discussion or changing of my expectations can change what God has planned for me should this be it. But knowing full well now I'm going to respond to it, I can't see how he would do that for me for no reason, unless it was to keep my mind from drifting to certain other places. Okay. I have no idea what any of that means. I was half expecting to see an email from her when I got home saying, hey, did you just pass my house? Whether or not she knew it was me, who knows? She was here that one night, but I doubt she remembers the truck that well. But you never know. All the lights shining on my hair, the shape of my head, it's not impossible that she might have known who I was. That is, if she was paying attention. But like I said, screw the discussion. You know exactly what I'm thinking anyway, so why bother trying to analyze it here? Whatever happens, happens. Whatever doesn't happen, happens anyway. Good night. Oh, man. This is crazy, man. This one does not have a date, but the title says, well, it's that time again. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Okay, these are out of order a little bit here. Let me see something. This one needs to be at the bottom. Wow, these start to get really spaced out as far as time goes. Holy crap, okay. This is like... This must be a lot later. Because now he's talking about Melissa, which that didn't happen till... Well, it was like September, I think. The last entry was July 30th, and this one... So I'm going to estimate this one was in September. It says... I'm honestly surprised the mooching has been as minimal as it has been. But then again, I did loan out $20 last week that I was supposed to get back Thursday night. Thanks to an alleged bad memory. That will never be seen again. Until I win the lottery, that is. He is still on that lottery thing. But even then, it'll be coming from God, so that really isn't fair, is it? Ooh, okay. Here's how I plan to spend my $250,000 when I do get it. When I do get it. Damn. It's just, you're delusional now. First things first, start a savings account and put $100 there, build some interest. I'll tell you what you need to do. Get a Roth IRA, man. Hell yeah. Donate 10 to 50 grand to child abuse. Whatever that means. Just a charity, I guess. Give $10,000 to Dad and Deb to help them pay off the bills. Give either 5 or 10 grand to Dad for the truck, straight up. Send $5,000 to Mom. Send $5,000 to Mary and Josh. Hell, you should be giving Mary and Josh the $10,000 and give the $5,000 to Dad. Okay, whatever. Give $500 to all the people who work at Motomart. Either that or give it all to Melissa. Oh boy. Go to a dentist and spend $500 on a new mouth. Well, I did end up doing that, despite not winning the lottery. And finally, move the fuck to Appleton. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get back to MTM. What is that? What is MTM? Well, I guess DTM would be safe at this point, wouldn't it? Oh, MTM is Minnie the Moocher. I started calling her that because somebody sang a song with that title at karaoke one night. So she managed to get back on with Labor Ready, which actually pays their employees daily. Pretty sweet bargain, if you ask me. Probably explains why so little mooching. Wait, it just ends there? Oh my god, I'm missing a page from this one. No, I want to find... like, I really want to find out how that one ends. There was so much suspense there, I tell you. So much of it. Oh man, okay. This one also doesn't have a date, but it's called Crazy for This Girl. That was basically me and Melissa's song, so I can imagine that's what this is about. It's like, yeah, boy. Don't you just love it when I'm talking about girls? It's probably better than me talking about God, I guess. Okay. Alright, here we go. Have you heard that song, Crazy for This Girl? It's by Evan and Jaron. He misspelled Jaron. It's supposed to be J-A-R-O-N. He put J-E. Huh. Called Crazy for This Girl seems to be getting some tremendously positive response thus far. Of course, I proclaimed it as our Me and the Girls song quite some time ago. Why did he say Me and the Girl? Did he make this like a public post or something? I can already tell. Jeez. Okay. If only the situation was as simple as falling in love sounds. Right now, it's still in very early stages, I might say. She was working at the Motomart when I first got the job in April, but I hardly remembered her much because she went away in May on this camp of some sort. And we had a postcard hanging in the store that she sent to all of us about how much fun she was having down there. About all I remembered was that she was a really friendly and sweet girl. I figured she had moved down there, but then just a few weeks ago, she returned because I saw her name on the schedule. The first day that she came back, I was there that morning on my way out, so I got to say hi to her anyway, and I actually got my guts up and said, "It's good to see you again." She said you too, in quite an optimistic tone. Either she really meant it, or she was flattered. I could tell that much. Well, the next couple of weeks passed, and almost every time she worked, I went to see her. Great. So now you're a stalker. Of course, I was going to see Kelly at Pick and Save too, not as often, though. This last Saturday morning, the person who was supposed to come in with her at 6, which was when I left, they didn't show up, so I stuck around so she wouldn't be alone. Of course, I didn't actually say anything like "I won't leave you alone" or any of that, but I got about a half hour just to kind of linger close by and all. Actually, she did show me this little teddy bear she got. Came with a birth certificate, and it was so cute. Smiley face. Well, he seems a lot happier here. Anyway, golly gee, that day still lingers in my mind. Absolutely unbelievable that it was only yesterday. Is that possible? Well, anyway, I went and saw her later that same day, even though I should have been sleeping, lol. Well, I stopped by to pick up a can of cat food since I was house-sitting for Mary. So... oh, I guess he did it again at some point. So I got to take that up to her and say, "I'm getting some food for my little friend here." We didn't actually have a cat. I was just doing that to impress her. I figured I'd give it a shot. I don't think it hurt the situation at all. So finally tonight comes around, and I don't know when I got this idea in my head. I guess it was this morning. Today she was working 2 to 10 in the afternoon, and of course the place is right across the street from a movie theater, where a lot of nice, juicy movies start at 10 or 10:15. So I thought I'd drop by, tell her I was going to the movies, and just pray that somehow I could find a way to see if maybe she might want to come along. Oh boy. That was fun times, working at that Motomart with the movies right across the street. I went there all the time. That was pretty much how I got started going to the movies. It became like this routine of go to Motomart, get snacks and Coke, and then take those into the movies. Okay, anyway, let me see. So I was trying to go to see if she would come along. Something like that is more practical if you plan it in advance, I know. But I was just feeling crazy. So I drove up to the movie theater, got there at about 9:05, so I just walked around smoking cigarettes trying to calm my nerves. Then, before making the walk over to the store, I covered the cigarette odor with a dash of cologne. But not too much, of course, because I know a few customers that tend to get a little overzealous with theirs. Oh, finally, I think I know what's about to happen here. I remember this. Finally, I walked across to the store and walked in, pretending like I was coming to copy lottery numbers. The most uncomfortable 2 minutes of silence followed while I copied down some random numbers, not actually copying down the ones I was supposed to. I just wanted to look busy, not like I was just coming to ask her to the movies. I don't want to look as obsessive as I am. Well, at least you admit it. But finally, we got to talking again, and I told her I was going to the movies. She asked me which one I was going to see, so I told her The Nutty Professor 2. Well, she told me that was the one she wanted to see sometime. Right at that moment was my opening, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't ask her, and within seconds, I knew for sure that I'd blown it. My initial plan was to come by saying I was going to the movies, all by my lonely little self, and see if something might develop from that. It turned out a little different, and I think that threw me, as it often tends to do. I stuck around for a little longer, we had some more small talk, but I couldn't manage to bring back the subject. It just seemed too crazy, so I just took my Coke and Reese's peanut butter cups and walked out the door, walking as slow as ever back across the street, back into the movie parking lot, and I sat in the truck for a few minutes, then finally just started the engine and went home. If she was watching, she might have seen me drive past the store and wondered what was up with that. LOL. But I just couldn't deal with it. As it is, I've been awake for 26 hours and I don't even feel like sleeping right now. I'm trying to figure out if this is really potentially possible. I don't even know if she's single, and it's going to take a lot of time or research or something to find out, I guess. Research? What do you mean by research? What are you going to do? It's like, the internet wasn't exactly that big back then. I mean, this was still the year 2000, so... I think it was getting there, though, but anyway. In the end, I think it might open up a chance to possibly ask her later in the week. At least at that point, as far as she knows, I have seen the movie, which I have. I saw it about a month ago, so I can tell her about it. She already wants me to tell her about it, so maybe when I do, I can ask her if she wants to go see it Thursday night since I'm off. Oh, Sherry, thank you so much for listening to me. You're just like a mother to me, or maybe more like a big sister. Because you always seem to know just the right things to say or do. I'm not sure if I have a chance in this situation or not. I mean, I always... Okay, so this was me writing to somebody else. Wow. I mean, I always believe I do, but it's clearer than ever at this point that if it is to be, it is up to me. The 10 words, 20 letters saying. Nice to have some kind of complicated real life again. P.S. Oh yeah, her name is Melissa. Okay. Yeah, so that was an email I sent to somebody. Jeez, I thought that was a diary entry all this time, man. Jeez, man, it was the one. That is the one that I thought it was. My voice is giving out, man. I was in here reading for like an hour. November 23rd, If You're Gone. I know exactly what this is. The next one after this is January 19th, 2001. It's like 2 months later. And the next one is April 3rd, coming up on 25. It's my 25th birthday. Yeah, okay. Here goes. Now I know my feelings are real. This is just incredible. I have this big mixture of emotions going on right now, and I don't know what to think. I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm sad, I'm scared, I'm angry, I'm hoping, I'm wondering, I'm wishing, I'm angry, and so on and so forth. Did I mention I'm angry? This is not the way people are meant to feel on Thanksgiving Day, but that's how I feel because this morning I had to walk away from the best job I ever had since Golden Pantry. Not only was I making $8.60 an hour, but I was making friends too. Did I make any friends at Pick and Save? Not a one. I interacted, yeah, but really. Did I make any friends at Guardian? Hell, I didn't even make an acquaintance there, except for the 2 Kims, maybe. The Nina shipping job was 3 weeks. Wow, that's real friend-making potential. So finally I get to Motomart, and I managed to hang on to the job for over 3 months. Next thing you know, 4 months, 5 months. Melissa starts getting me all crazy for this girl. 6 months, 7 months. I guess that explains why I consider these people to be the best friends I've had, because I've been there twice as long as anywhere else I've ever been since I moved up here. And now I just have to leave. What really makes me mad is that it's just another stupid reason to leave a job, just like every single one before. So far in my life, I've had to quit jobs for the following reasons. Okay, let's hear it. Sorry, I had to, like, rub my lips with my fingers because they're getting all juicy. Number 1, we moved to Wisconsin. Which, you know, was kind of because of my... That was mostly out of my hands because, like, my mom and stepdad were divorcing, so we really had nowhere to go, and I didn't really make enough to support myself, I guess, at that point. And so we kind of just moved in with Dad because it was the smartest thing to do, so yeah. So, number 2, temp agency assigned me to a data entry job. Okay, so I quit a job to go do data entry. Number 3, that assignment ended, so I lost the job, basically, because the temp assignment was over. Number 4, assignment ended after 3 weeks. That was the second temp job that only lasted 3 weeks. Number 5, thought some other temp agency was going to be able to get me somewhere, not. That was when I quit this Pick and Save the second time, because I thought that option 1 could get me in somewhere, I guess, but anyway. Reason number 5 was why I left the second Pick and Save job. There you go. That's like you said. When they fucked me over, I was left jobless until Josh pulled my ass out of the fire and got me in with Motomart and a highly recommended. Now I'm leaving my 6th job because of a little insurance squabble. Not only does this make me angry, but the fact that I have no one to blame but myself just makes me even madder. You come and tried walking a mile in my shoes with this lisp and these crooked and rotten teeth and inability to look people in the eyes and see how far you get. Oh, excuse me. Notice that despite having 6 jobs now, not one of them was quit because of me being tired of the job or just not liking it. When I get a job, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect, or if I get my hands dirty, or if I don't get paid $10 an hour and 40 hours a week, you know? I just take what I have and deal with it. And not once have I ever left a job just because I wanted to. It's always because someone else needs me to be somewhere, or there's no place for me here, or someone tells me they got something better lined up. And now it's because someone else doesn't trust me to drive in the friggin' snow for 12 miles. It's something I've been dealing with in the back of my mind since frickin' September. I thought about it every single day, but since there was no action, I guess it had to be assumed that I didn't care. He's being very vague here, I'm not sure. Like, I know what it is. Basically, the reason I had to quit Motomart was because I wasn't on my dad's insurance, and he didn't want me driving his truck in the snow for 12 miles to get there every day. Or 2 days a week, but still. Now I finally quit the job, and I'm just mad at myself for not attempting to communicate my way into a solution. I guess I was afraid I would lose. I mean, up until now, I felt like the more I tried to talk them into letting me keep the job anyway, the more guilty they would have to feel for making me quit, which in all truth, they never did. I'm not following this too well, and I don't want to have to be the reason for that guilt. On the other hand, if I'd actually managed to convince them to let me keep the job, then I'd be the reason for a ton of worry and shit. Either way, I'd be causing a lot of guilt for insisting that everything go my way, win or lose. And if I won, there'd be worry on top of that. At least this way, if I just go along with it, I don't have to deal with any of that. I know that sounds like stupid reasoning to worry about other people's feelings, but I do. The big issue really was the insurance, and that's actually a bit complicated. First, I was led to believe that I couldn't drive the truck because I was not on the insurance. So about a week back, I asked how much it would be to have me put on the insurance, and I found out that they're not even insured themselves. So what does this mean? Insurance was not the issue. The issue was who was the better driver. Now, if I had to bet, I sure wouldn't bet on myself, I'll admit that. But I know what it feels like to drive on ice. I did it in Super Mario Kart for years. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, how far is he going to go with this one? Now, am I going to bring this up in a conversation? Hell no. Why? Because Nintendo is the reason I'm so lazy and apathetic anyway. You think I'm not a mind reader? Let me be the judge of that. I got the tapes from 8 years ago. The memories are embedded in my mind. Now, truthfully, the people up there at Nintendo get paid millions to make these games. You would think that if there were any inaccuracy in the feel of driving on ice in those games, that someone would have said something. Well, nobody ever did. So I can establish that I know how it feels to drive on ice, and at 120 miles an hour even. Super Mario Kart doesn't even have a speedometer, dude. Does it? I don't think it does. They didn't add that until, like, Mario Double Dash, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, okay. Just because I'm safe from wrecking in the game doesn't mean I'm not learning how to avoid wrecking, for Christ's sake. You have to avoid wrecking to win the race, and I did win it hundreds of times. But that doesn't matter, because Nintendo is the reason I'm so lazy and apathetic. That's what I would expect to hear. It's like saying that those flight simulators that Air Force pilots go through are useless because they're only simulators. Duh! Okay, I guess he kind of has a point there. I still recall a conversation once where the subject came up of what would happen. I notice I'm not referring to Dad here. I'm being very, like, ambiguous about saying, like, I'm not saying he did it. I'm saying, like, where the subject came up, you know, like, I still recall a conversation once where the subject came up. It's a passive tone, that's what it's called. I was trying to think of what it was called. It's passive. Anyway. The subject came up of what would happen if my parents ever had to send someone else to pick me up from school, and the question was, how would you know that they were legit? And my first thought, and I said this out loud, was, well, we could have a password. And right away, the initial response, not his response, the initial response. That's how scared I was to actually just call it out, I'll tell you. And the initial response was, password? Don't be ridiculous. Get your head out of those frickin' video games for once. So there you go. The fact that passwords exist in video games automatically makes them useless in real life, which is bullshit, of course. What does video games have to do with it anyway? Well, they are the reason I'm so lazy and apathetic after all, so I guess that's why. I can't think of any other reason why that would have been brought up. I'm sorry for thinking this way, but I can't go by the way I... Wait. I'm sorry for thinking this way, but I can't go by the way I think. I have to go by the other way, because that's what is going to control my life until I get my own car. First, let me get back to the insurance and say that just the other day I saw the card on the table, so they are covered now. Heather tells me that if you're covered, and you give someone permission to drive your vehicle, that they are automatically covered too. But am I going to bring that up in a conversation? Hell no, because then they would ask where I heard that. Oh, I heard it from someone on the internet. Uh-oh, but the internet is now the new #1 reason why I'm so lazy and apathetic. So don't even try using the internet to win an argument, because the internet is dismissible from the start through the eyes of the other way. Now all this would be solved if I bought my own car. Well, guess what? I can't afford a car. I know that sounds horrible, but I cannot. At the rate I'm going, if I have to keep quitting jobs for stupid reasons like this, then I'll get behind on my payments and bam, I'm screwed. I guess the worst that could happen is they would repossess it. But by then, I would have grown dependent on it, so that wouldn't be easy. Besides, you really think I'm stupid enough to buy a car knowing full well that I got a $900 debt on a washer and dryer that a certain someone claimed would be paid off before the interest starts? Yeah. I'm not going to go putting myself in debt and upgrading my standards of living if I can't afford it, and they're trying to teach me to do that not only by this, but by the example that's set. Between a big screen TV, DirecTV, having their web TV on my credit card, DVD player, wow, you think we were rich or something. Well, I guess one good thing about leaving third shift is that I won't have to pull the blankets over my ears and snore purposely loud every time they start talking about finances and what kind of trouble they've gotten into this time. From where I stand, that's never a good thing to hear. That's why I'm saying right here, right now, winning the lottery is my only way out, and I'm going to win it. I just need a little more time. That's why I asked for it. That's why I want it. That's why I need it. Otherwise, all my God-given potential is for naught. Damn, that's a way to end, I tell you. So now it jumps to January. What's he talking about now? Josh and Mary have been coming and visiting almost every day, and it's been so wonderful. They might be coming to Sky Club with us tonight. At least there's something to look forward to. But I gotta be ultra careful with my money, because eventually I'm gonna run out of CDs and movies and whatnot to sell off. Ugh. Of course, I will have that ePinions check coming in real soon, so that's good, so I was on ePinions at this point. Then again, my AOL free month is almost up. We got another CD in the mail for another free month, so I may be able to stay on through February. But really, though, I need a job, and I can't afford to put up with all this bullshit that I've been going through. Hopefully a spot will open up at Motomart soon. People came and went fairly fast there when I worked there. They were always hiring new people, Bill, Carol, and who knows who else. I thought I'd have enough to talk about to last through the entire Robbie Williams CD, Sing When You're Winning, but I'm only a third through, and I'm pretty much bone dry. Oh well, I guess it's time to connect to the internet. Yep. Oh, this is the last one that I have here. Oh, he wrote a song. Oh, this is gonna be good. Not. April 3rd, coming up on 25. Oh, he's talking about Melissa here. I don't have, like, the first page of this, though. It's starting in the middle of a sentence. It says G, the letter G, and then after a night I was working, I'd still be sitting here thinking about how the last time we spoke and she called me dear. Also, he's talking about Melissa. She did call me dear one day. I don't remember when that was, but... So, like, I wrote this song about it last night. I was trying to write a song for Grandpa, who had just passed away. But my thoughts started drifting, and I started feeling a want, an urge, maybe even a need, to be pissed off about the Melissa situation, if you can even call it a situation. I wrote more verses than I needed for a song, so I could take the choicest cuts from this meaty little rant. Without further ado, here we go. This is how we're going to end this, with a frickin' song. Well, how much time we got left? Still got quite a bit of video left to go here. Something else is nagging me. Okay, this is the song, actually. I never did anything with this, and it doesn't even have, like, a rhythm or anything, but here it goes. Something else is nagging me, and you'd be sorry if you knew, but it's almost like you already do. Oh, God. Okay, alright, whatever. Just my phone went off, sorry. Throw me out like yesterday's trash. I already know that's all I am to you, so why should you give a flying fuck if I'm blue? The songs that make me think of you just aren't the same as they used to be. Why should they be, when you never think of me? I'd rather hold on to a dream that has no chance of coming true than to have that dream so blatantly shattered by you. Your friends go treating me like I'm all that. Can't help but wonder if they sympathize with the latest victim of your bait hook eyes. What the fuck, dude? What is bait hook? I've never heard anybody say that before. I picture a scenario of you coming back and seeing my genuine ways, but not before another needless waste of umpteen days. Now my heart lies silently weeping, and you just turn and walk away. But I'm shit to you, so fuck it. It's all okay. That's it. That is all of them. I didn't think I was going to get through those that fast. Now I gotta sit here and figure out something else to talk about. I'm just like, whoa, dude. Man, I'm gonna have to drag out a bunch more journals to read during the Oops All Bubble Frogs episode, because there is that too. I guess I could look on my computer and see. Wait, I need to mute this channel, whatever this is. Yeah, mute channel until I turn it back on, yeah. Which I never will. I never have in my life. Yeah, wow, okay. Well, let me see how long the Bubble Frogs episode actually is. I can do that because I'm post-commentating here. I don't know if I mentioned that. I am post-commentating this. Of course, how in the world would I be reading journals and getting Koroks at the same time? I have no idea. Let me see. So, Bubble Frogs is... Let's see, 5... I got like 5 parts and I'm going to put them all together. 5, 5, 3, 4, and 3. So, that's a lot shorter. That's like a half hour. That's not too bad. So, yeah, I guess we'll do that. Well, hell, okay. I'm just sitting here looking at my computer. What else can I do? What else can I read to you here? Do I have any diaries or anything, written stuff? I have, like, parodies to Albuquerque and Trapped in the Bathroom, neither of which I've done anything with. I always say I'm going to, and then I never do. I got my tapes, I got Summer 2003. Is there anything written in here that I could just read? Probably not. There's gotta be some kind of text documents. What about Getting Old Sucks? Is that a tape, or is that a... Oh, that's like a phone file, never mind. Man, my throat is so bad right now. I'm sitting here reading solid for like an hour. This is like the most I've spoken in 1 hour. Since I was 23. Which nobody likes you when you're 23. Anyway. So how much time is left on this video? Gee, it's getting there. Bup, 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 bup. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think I do. I don't think I have any, like, text stuff to read. That's too bad. Man, I should have brought more. I didn't think that I was gonna get through those that fast. That's the thing. I mean, what else could I even say about that time in my life? I'm just so surprised at how, like, aggressive I was toward the whole concept of fate and everything. I was just like, man, what was that one line? There was one line in there that kind of blew my mind. It was, shoot, I'm sitting here going through and telling you the best parts of my diary. How egotistical can I be? It was the part where I said if you pass judgment on me, you pass judgment on fate itself. I don't remember how I justified that, though. Where was that? Looks like rain to me. I just listened to that Tal Bachman album so many times. It's unreal. Well, shoot, now I can't find it. It's like, I know it's in here somewhere. If I start looking for it, it's gonna be like, oh yeah. Well, I'm surprised. I don't know. Oh man, at the beginning of those, when I was talking about Kelly, I was talking all about Mary and how I tried to get into her email account on WebTV. Like, seriously, dude, you were messed up. Is that how desperate you are? I mean, you could have just asked. But I didn't do that. You know, I had to be all sneaky about it. Well, the thing is, though, and I didn't really bring this up in the journals, but... Well, I don't know how much I really want to go into this. I just had this thing a lot of times where I felt embarrassed about falling in love, and I didn't want my sister to know, you know, because, well, I think I did mention it at one point that she would think, oh, here he goes again, or something like that. Oh god, what did I say in that email about it's too bad the only ones who like cuddling, etc.? That's the only part I posted here. But if there was more to that, I sure don't want to see what it is, because that must have been cringy as hell. Like, I had this one conversation I had with Jane in a chat on WebTV, and I recorded it, like, onto a VCR tape. And I remember going back to watch that, like, 2 or 3 years later, and it was just cringy as hell. Like, all I was doing... See, the thing is with me, the thing that I do wrong with girls is being too nice to them. Showering them with compliments, thinking, oh, it's going to get me somewhere because I make them feel good about themselves or something. But at a certain point, like, it becomes obvious that you're just doing it because you're trying to get in their pants, man. You can't be doing that. I don't know. But I guess there are worse things I could have done. I don't know. I don't know where that was that I said that now. That thing. I think it might have been later than this, though. Oh, well. Jeez, wow. Is anybody actually still listening to this? I'd love to know, because I gotta tell you, this is ridiculous. Like, this is just the kind of video you just put on to have something in the background. Have somebody sitting here reading a bunch of crap. It's like I should put this on audible.com. Maybe I could put my journal on audible.com. That'd be interesting. I don't know. I'm still looking for it here. I don't see it anywhere. Like, there are certain parts of, like, where I had to stop and, you know, catch my breath a little bit because I was reading too fast. So I might be cutting parts of those out. So even though I'm at, like, an hour and 20 minutes in the video, I don't know where you are in the video, if you know what I mean. I mean, I don't know why I thought I had such a good point there. Like, what if you do pass judgment on fate? Who are you referring to when you say fate there, you know? It's like Neo says, I don't like the idea of not being in control of my life, you know what I mean? It just is what it is, you know? Still got some coffee here. Just been drinking it left and right, man. Yeah, I feel like it was near the top of the page, so I keep looking at like the top of each page, and I don't see it. It's so weird, man. Thought I, like, could sort of remember the arrangement of the paragraphs, too, but I don't know. You did make a complete fool of yourself. Good job, dude. That was wonderful. Alright, so what is he doing? Well, I can't really comment on what's going on in the video, because I'm not in the same place you are in the video, probably. It's just a lot of balloon bursts. I don't know why it is, but, like, when I record these sections, do these Koroks and everything, it's like, it's actually really fun when I'm doing it, and I'm not sure why that is. It's when you have a map that, like, tells you where they all are, that helps a lot. But still, then you just go and, like, do it. But there's, like, that sense of building up to something, whether or not there's actually a pod at the end of the rainbow, so to speak. It's definitely not in this case. There's more like, well, there is a pod, but not the kind of pod you're thinking of, I'll tell you that. Man. I still can't believe I tried to get into my sister's email. Oh, what the hell were you doing, dude? Oh, there it is. I found it. To heck with signs, because I find very little meaning in them anymore. I only base my assumptions on past experience. So if you pass judgment on me, you pass it on fate itself. That was what I said. Yeah, I guess. I'm not sure what he's really getting at there. It's just basically, well, I'm saying that fate is responsible for my past experience. So if you're going to assume things about me based on past experience, if you're going to pass judgment based on past experience, you're passing judgment on fate itself, who is responsible for that past experience. I don't know. Like, is that really such a huge discovery? No, it's not. It's just something you say to make yourself feel better. That's what half of these are. So I don't know, because when I wrote these, I didn't think I was ever going to be reading them to anybody. That's why I love them so much, though. It's like, I just did it for myself. Except for that one that I wrote as a letter to somebody else. Which I didn't realize it was a letter to somebody else until I got to the end of it. But it's like, by that point, I'd already read it, so it was too late. Ugh, I'm getting hot. I think I'm just getting too into this, I tell you. I wish I could show you. Well, I guess I could, but like, I should show you how thick this pile of papers is. But this is literally probably 40 pages here, and I just read all that? How the heck, man? I should read more often. Of course, I'm like Sir Jet. He never liked to read other people's stuff, you know. Well, in Jet's case, like, he never liked watching other people play. So it's like, is that how I am with, like, reading or writing and stuff? I don't know. I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing or just a medium thing. Oh, Korok after Korok, I tell you. I don't know what my current count of Koroks is. I could, like, literally just look at it right now if I wanted to. Is my Switch plugged in is the thing, because I've been using my Switch charger to charge everything else. So, oh yeah. Okay, it's not. Still wearing my glasses. I guess I can take off my glasses now. I'm not reading anymore. I tell you. Ugh. I had this dream last night that I was like... I was at somebody's... Okay, so here's the thing. I had this... So, like, I was in my room, and I was doing something. I guess I was, like, streaming or something. But I don't remember streaming in the dream. It's like I was just sitting there doing nothing. And all of a sudden, some random person... Like, I don't know who this person was. They just kind of came in, and they sat down on my computer. And when they did, I realized that I was still broadcasting. So now I was broadcasting whatever they were doing. So, but they didn't know that I was here. So I hid in this closet back here behind myself, and I was standing in the closet, and I was smoking a cigarette, which is probably from reading these journals last night. I don't know. It's been a while since I had a dream about smoking. But I was sitting in there doing that while they were, like, broadcasting whatever they were doing, and I have no idea what they were doing, so... It did scare me a little bit, though. So I'm like, dude, they could do anything. They could totally get me banned. Guess I'm looking for the last balloon burst here. That's probably not what you're seeing. Man, I tell you. Oh, I haven't updated my comments page in a while. I guess I should do that. In a while. In a little while. Oh, man. This has been like the longest video ever. I don't even know. Like, I'm almost tempted to, like, split this into two. I don't think I'm actually going to do that. Because, like, wow. I wish I should wait until a more epic number to actually put this up. But I've also been putting it off for too long now. I've been sitting here with my Korok total close to 800. And yet I haven't actually shown myself getting all those Koroks. I'm still, for real, still at like 560 or something like that. At least as far as, you know, the videos have shown. So this will finally catch us up on the Koroks, so I'll be in the same place as what you're actually seeing. So that'll be helpful. And then once I get the bubble frogs done, we'll be caught up with all those too. I just can't believe there's still like 30 more bubble frogs. Because I don't feel like there's 30 more caves that I haven't explored. But I guess there are. I'm surprised how many there are in the world. The world is so big, man. So like today, I was at the grocery store, and I was next to that little refrigerated area that has all the salads in a bag and stuff like that in there, and little containers of like baby spinach and baby arugula and all that stuff. And I was standing there looking, because there was like one slot that was empty. They were sold out of whatever it was, so I could see back behind this row of salad bags, you know, like saddle bags, like Sally Field. Anyway, oh, you turn it around. Sorry, don't talk about what's on the screen. They're not watching the same thing you are. If it's all desynced. And I was just wishing that I could turn tiny and just fly back behind these salad bags and just hang out back there. And I've done that ever since I was a kid, all the time when I was in like clothes stores and stuff. I would like imagine, what if I could just hide somewhere in this store and just exist behind these clothes hangers where nobody could see me. And that's what I was doing here. Like, I thought I wasn't doing that anymore, but apparently I did it today. It was kind of weird. Yeah, just imagining that I could just fly back behind the items on the shelf and just hang out back there and nobody in the world would know that I was there. I don't know why that's so alluring to me, just that idea of nobody knowing where you are at any given moment. But I know I'm not the only one who thinks it, because there's like a scene in Joyride, which, okay, here I go again justifying my thoughts by referring to a movie here, but but like there's a scene in Joyride where the girl and some guy are sitting in a hotel room, and they're like on a road trip, and she says like, nobody in the world knows where we are right now. We're just out there floating in the endless nothingness or something. There's just something weirdly intoxicating about that feeling, though. Of just being completely and utterly non-existent. But it's not really about the non-existence, it's just about, like, just being somewhere and nothing mattering, you know, having no responsibilities, having no obligations, having no feelings to deal with. Maybe ultimately that is what happens when you die. I don't really know. Just, I know I talked a lot about, like, God and stuff in that journal, and I don't still think like that. I don't still hold God to such a high standard, which... It's weird, because the way people talk about him, you think you could do that, but I don't know. Like, I just, like, obviously the whole lottery thing, it was just a shitty pipe dream I had, because I kind of had been raised to believe that if you did good in the world, it came back to you. And for, I'll tell you right now, that this YouTube channel is more than enough recompense for all that I've done in my life, and then some. And the life I live today is so incredibly blessed that I can't imagine, like, being in any way resentful for anything now. Like, everything that's ever happened in my life has led up to this, and I'm so thankful now that it is the way it is. But, yeah, this video is getting long up there. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and, well, the thing is, like, I don't know how much more I need to talk here to fill in all that space that I need to cut out where I was stopping to take breaks in the middle of it. So, so I might come back. There might be a chance I come back after this to say something else or to read another one after this. But for the time being, I'm just going to go ahead and stop what I have here. and I'll figure this out later. This is going to be a mess of a video, but I don't even care. So, thanks y'all for hanging out, and I will see you on whatever the next part is, because I don't even know what this part is, actually. 157, I think? Maybe. Anyway, see ya.